So, hello students, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to learn about a poem in literature which is The Patriot. Okay, so let's start the video. So, first let's introduce the poet. So, this poem is written by Robert Browning. He was born in Camberwell, South London, and was raised in a household of significant literary resources. Browning is often known by some of his short poems such as Porphyria's Lover, My Last Duchess, Rabbi Ben Ezra, The Pied Piper of Hamelin, the most common, etc. Browning's fame today rests mainly on his dramatic monologues and all, in which the words not only convey setting and action but also reveal the speaker's character. So he's such a good, kind-hearted person. Okay, so this was a short intro of the poet as I gave. So let's start the poem now. Okay, so The Patriot, written by Robert Browning. So first stanza says, "It was roses, roses all the way, with myrtle mixed in my path like mad. The house roofs seemed to heave and sway. The church spires flamed, such flags they had a year ago on this very day." Okay, so it was roses, roses all the way to celebrate the coming of this patriot. He was such a good person for the people, with myrtle and all roses. So it was a mix-up path, roses, myrtle, and all on the way, like a mad and crazy. The house roofs seemed to heave and sway. Now, what it was like? If there's a building was there, okay. If there's a building and there are lots of people, all of them curious to see from the top at this person walking on the street, so that effect, you can imagine, it gives like the buildings itself are moving and swaying. Okay, on the church spires there are many flags, and it was as if all the flags were on fire. All this happened a year ago. Noted, all this happened a year ago on this very day. So here we see there's a sense of gratitude in the patriot for his country. Okay, so he describes his pride welcome by the people on that day. He was welcomed so nicely, as we can see here in the first stanza. So second stanza, what is it? The air broke into the mist with bells. The old walls rocked with the crowd and cries. Had I said, "Good folk, mere noise repels, but give me your son from yonder size," they had answered, and afterward what else? So here the bells are making so much of noise and all and chaos, as if the air itself was getting misty because of the sounds of those bells and all. So there were a crowd of people everywhere to have just a glimpse of the patriot. See, with the lines it can be said that this is a town and the walls of this city or town are very old. So the patriot said, "Had I said, good folk, mere noise repels." So he says that if we would have said to the people that these people and noise are repelling him and all, and instead asked for the sun from the sky, they would have done and even would have asked for anything else to do. So here we can easily and clearly see that he is such a great hero referred here and getting such a heroic welcome from everyone in the country of his people, by his people. Okay, so third stanza starts. "Alack, it was I who leaped at the sun to give it my loving friends to keep. Not man could do, have I left undone. And you see my harvest, what I reap. This very day, now a year is run. So now he has come to this year, the present year where he is living. That was the case of 365 days ago. Okay. After a year, the present situation he's telling now. Alack. Alack means first only we are understanding that yes, he is regretting by something. Alack, it's a kind of exclamation or dismay that he's giving us. So he said earlier that if he would ask for the sun, the crowd would have said yes, and what else do you want? And then just he remembers that it is he It is he who leaped at the sun to give it to the people of his town. Here, leaped at the sun is almost something like to convey something impossible, a work that is impossible to do, that he had managed to attain for the people of his country, that the poet had done for his country. That is referred to something to leap at the sun and all. Okay, so and he says, not man can do, that is nothing man can do which the patriot did not do. Every stone's unturned. Okay, so and then after a year when he sees the result, he is very, very disappointed and disheartened. So he's talking about what he has reaped and what the harvest he has got by his achievement. What he has achieved, what he has gained, what the harvest, that the result he has got from the people. Okay, so fourth stanza. What it says, there's nobody on the housetops now. A year ago, just imagine, just recall the previous passages and paras. A year ago, people were curious to see and have a glimpse of the same person, this patriot. The house roofs seemed to heave and sway. So here we need to contrast stanza 1 with stanza 4. It's very important to contrast stanza 1 with stanza 4. Both are important. Just a palsied few at the windows said. Palsied is such an ailment in which people are paralyzed. They cannot move from one place to another. Mostly it happens in old peoples. So it's only these old people who cannot move and are made to sit there so that they do not get bored by seeing same things inside the house, so that they can see the view of daily life, view of the outside surroundings also. So now it's completely still. The situation a year ago, it was everyone was curious to see who the person is, how the person is. Just to have a glimpse of that person, they were very curious. Okay, and now the present situation, the present year, everything is still. Nobody is there, neither on the house roofs, nor anywhere else. Only the people, those who can't move by themselves, are there sitting. So, for the best of the sight is all allow at the shambles gate, or better yet, by the very scaffold foot I trow. So, the patriot is saying that the people had assembled at the shambles gate, where the patriot will be hanged publicly. It is a place where a person's execution takes place publicly. Many people gathered there, and then the person is getting executed. The person is condemned to death. He also says that people are gathering at the scaffold. Scaffold is a raised platform. It's a raised platform over there. So people are gathering at the scaffold so that at least to have the closest view of the hanging that is going to take place at that place. So you can see the scenario now. Okay, stanza 5. I go in the rain and more than needs. A rope cuts both my wrists behind, and I think by the feel my forehead bleeds, for they fling, whoever has a mind, stones at me for my years' misdeeds. So here we see the patriot goes in the rain. It's raining and all, and his wrists have been tied with ropes. Okay, so here we see the contrast. All at the beginning, the poet used the word, just recall, he uses the words roses as a celebration for the patriots coming by the people, and now it has been turned to ropes, which has a sense of something not good, something negative upon it. And the patriot says that his wrists were tied so tightly that they were bleeding, and he thinks as if his forehead bleeds, maybe by the stones which people were throwing at him for his misdeeds. And yes, the poet says that he had committed some misdeeds, although he did not mention about them anywhere, but he says that yes, he had done some misdeeds. Okay, so last stanza but not the least. Thus and I entered and thus I go. In triumphs people have dropped down dead, paid by the world, and what dost thou owe? Me? God might question, now instead. It's God shall repay, I am safer so. So here the poet concludes here by saying that this was how I entered and now this is how I am going. Thus I entered and thus I go. The speaker resigned himself to his fate. The Patriot entered the town a year ago when it was roses and roses all way. Such a beautiful scenario, and a year later, the same person, he is being publicly hanged with stones, being pelted at him. People have welcomed him a year ago and now people wish him to be killed. But the Patriot thinks that it is good. It is good that he has met his death, as it is now God's turn to pay him for his deeds, and therefore he thinks he is in safer hands, that is, he is in the hands of God and he's safe. He feels safe. Here we see this reflects Robert Browning's optimistic philosophy of life. Okay, so by this poem we can see this poem teaches us that life is uncertain, life is not certain. A person's fate can change at any time, at any possible way. No one knows what is going to happen at the next second moment. Okay, life is uncertain. So that was the poem Patriot by Robert Browning. I hope this poem is clear to you all. If you have any doubts or queries, do let me know in comments. I would surely try to help you all. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye bye.